ahead. Okay. Good morning. Hi, Tan, George. Hope you had a nice weekend. It was a rainy weekend for the whole time, since Friday. But I don't mind that. I had a good time in my home. I have a peaceful moment with the family. It's nothing better than having a sip of tea and, watching a movie and, be with the family. So it was a nice weekend for me. I hope you have a nice weekend for you too. Okay, now this is already the middle of November. Okay, we practically only have 1 month to go. So so if you haven't reached your goal yet, then this is your last effort. This is your last chance. Give it the last push, and and end up with the a good 2025. All right, and so hopefully we have a better 2026 also. So don't if you haven't gotten your goal accomplished, don't give up. It's always uh, tomorrow, okay? And as we have Brandon Saransky for our affiliate spotlight today, but I will first introduce our other affiliates first. Let's begin with John. John, how are you? Good morning.
Thank you. Thank you, Peter, and blessed to be a part of this. Thank you for allowing us to be here. Hello, Michelle, and everybody today. I just want to say this is, as Peter was saying, it's time to push. Reach out to as many people as you can. Build that pipeline, because if you continue working, you'll have a better beginning to 2026. And like I said, 2026 is going to be a fantastic year, but you have to keep on working. Yes, go to your parties, go to your events and things like that. Keep your ears out like Peter does. When he hears real estate, he goes over there and he says, "Oh yeah, real estate. I heard someone talking about real estate. Hey, you know anybody who wants to list or sell, right?" Yeah, you need to do that. The other thing is, remember, when you're going on listing appointments, you can order your Snap and HTGR reports up front. Take it with you to your listing appointment. It's risk-free. There's no charge unless it closes escrow. But that way you'll have the valuable information, especially now, because we know there's areas that are in the fire zone. But what about the mudslide areas and the flooding areas? Well, the Snap and HTGR report will give you that information, and that way you can discuss with your clients, and maybe double end it with the buyers, because you know all the hazards around that property that could affect the property. Get the proper insurance people in place and other professionals so that it could be a successful, but also a very rewarding experience for those clients. And they're all perspectives if you don't have the listing yet. The other thing I want to let you know is I heard that the assessor's estimator for supplemental taxes is down. We have one right on our website under estimator. When you go to the website, just click estimate at the top. You'll get the 1 to 2 supplemental taxes plus full tax for next year. You do need it for leases. The NHG report, remember, ours is free. It's a flood zone only report. We own all our own data, so it's always updated. And then lastly, we include the FHDS card form in the reports when they're in the fire zone. You're not alone. I'm part of your team. Get your client on the phone, because they're the ones who fill it out. You ask them the questions, but I can be there to be your guide in filling out the form and making sure it's filled out properly. My biggest tip to you is keep on working, guys, because when you work, we get to work, and we get to help you out, and we're part of your team. Always wear your badges, have cards, pens, and appropriate documents with you, because you never know where the next deal is coming from. And I did hear that the evacuation orders from the burn-scarred areas in Altadena have been lifted, but keep your ears and eyes open, because that could come again when the next flooding comes. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, John, do you have updated information regarding the regular assessment as well as a supplemental assessment of the property tax?
I don't understand.
Do you have updated information on the property tax? on a regular assessment and
we have the taxes in the report. All the regular taxes are in our Snap and HD report.
okay.
But
Okay.
find out about the supplemental taxes, we have the estimator. It's
I
in,
see.
you know what I mean? We have an estimator that the buyer can fill out, but you don't want them to do that. You want to use the estimator on the website. It's accurate. We're doing it. We put it together, and it will be as accurate as possible of the 1 to 2. If it's done in May, you'll get 2 supplemental taxes.
Right.
And if it's done after that, it'll be 1 supplemental tax. But also based on that price, you get the full supplemental or the tax bill for the following year.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, yes, as John said, that it's important to order the NHD report early, you know, and there's no harm ordering early because you don't have to pay until you close, right, John?
Correct.
Yeah,
and get the environmental too. Get the environmental report because you want to know if there's any environmental hazards affecting that property. It's a proximity report, but it can give you peace of mind, and also material facts like that can be surprises and cause lawsuits. So if you provide it to them, they sign up, it's a done deal.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Peter. You're welcome.
Okay, next we have Kanita Sugars from Home Guard. Kanita, good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic, Peter, Michelle, everybody, my affiliates, High 10 people. I'm so excited to be here with you this morning. Thank you for the opportunity to join. I'm very excited to attend my first High 10 holiday party. So I will be with you guys. I think it's Friday, right? So I'm excited about that.
At 12 o'clock.
At 12 o'clock, I'll be there. I'm excited about that. And thank you guys for that invitation. I echo John's thoughts, and what Peter said. This is the last grand finale for the last push. So don't let up. There's people out there that need your help. And because they need your help, you need our help. So I'm definitely here with all of your inspections, your home, termite, roof, pool, and sewer lateral. And it's very important right now that we're in our rainy season. Well, we're not in the season, but it is raining. But the rainy season comes in January and February. And all of a sudden, people start finding holes in their roof that never, ever existed, right? So because it doesn't rain that often, they don't really get a chance to see that. So I want to make sure that you know that Home Guard provides roof inspections, and we can get that taken care of. And it's a good opportunity for you to talk to your former clients and just let them know, hey, make sure your roof is up to par. Because when January, February comes, all of a sudden, here comes the leaks that you didn't even know you had. I used to work for a restoration company prior to getting in inspections. And January through March was our busiest season because all of a sudden holes start popping up everywhere inside of roofs. So I'm here to be a resource and a partner for you. If you need those home inspections, my phone number is 626-627-6694. Thank you so much, and you guys have a good day.
Thank you, Kanita. Thank you very much. You have a nice day. All right, next we have Sandy Franco from First American Home Warranty.
From her house.
Good morning.
Super happy to be home. Half of my house has no power. That's right. Your home warranty rep is sitting in the dark. So that's cool. But I'm going to tag along off what we were just talking about, roof leaks. So it is today, right now, too late to add roof coverage to a current policy because you're only doing it because you have a roof leak, right? So even though we say you can add options up to 60 days after the close of escrow, we also say everything has to be in good, safe working order at the time that we add the option. And you're literally not adding roof leak in the middle of a rainstorm unless you found a leak. Like, we're not stupid. We're not playing the game. So if we took the premium, we wouldn't let you place a claim for 30 to 60 days. So not worth it. If you want roof coverage, order it when you order the home warranty. It is your safest bet to make sure you don't get things denied for pre-existing. Roof coverage is super limited, up to $1,000 of roof leaks caused by rain, and that's important. If it's windy and it blows off shingles, that's not caused by rain. That's caused by wind and not covered by any home warranty. So have a fabulous, I hope your day is filled with light and beauty, because mine is dark. But I think I look younger in the dark, so I'm going to run with that one. Right, Michelle? That's what we all say. Right? I look younger in the dark. So let's roll with that. I hope to see you guys on Friday. Still not sure about my plans. But thank you guys so much. Your support for the last 4 months has meant the world to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sandy. Appreciate that. Okay, next we have Nicole Manat from Fidelity National. Nicole.
Hi, good morning. Hi,
morning.
Ten. Thank you, Peter and Michelle, for allowing us to join you. I just wanted to remind you, of course, we all know it's tax season, but what's most important is if you have a transaction in escrow, make sure to have your clients pay the taxes through the file to avoid duplicate payments or the money being held in escrow. And I just want to wish you all a beautiful and blessed Thanksgiving and holiday season. And thank you so much for your support. I'm here to support you in any way that I can. And as everybody has said, it is the last push. Right now is a great time to prospect, even for expireds. Get ready for those expireds because those are going to be hitting the market towards the end of December, beginning of January. So if you're not targeting those, reach out and I'd love to help. Or if you're looking for additional niches, I'm here to help you with your farming and prospecting needs. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much, Nicole Menard, Fidelity National Title. And I left my info in the chat.
Okay, thank you, Nicole. Appreciate that. Thank you. Have a nice day. All right. Michelle, do we have any affiliates in the training room?
No.
Okay. In that case, we'd like to call Brendan Saransky for our affiliate spotlight today. Brendan, go ahead.
Thanks, Peter. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, High 10. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day. And yes, we all know it has been raining. And as someone from Atlanta, a state that it rains a lot, it's kind of nice to be in the rain since we haven't seen it in about 9 months. But something that obviously all of us have talked about is, and I think I saw Tatiana post this weekend, there's a great time to show people houses. So if you have those buyers looking out there, this is a great time because obviously, if these places have leaks or any issues that you would normally not see 9 months of the year, right? As it doesn't rain here very often. So the other thing that I was going to mention is Sandy spoke, and Angie and I, and we also have our teammate Rick. So First American's been pushing this a lot, and especially the four of us have really been pushing just the strength of First American and all of the resources that we provide. Obviously, there are transactions where you guys can't write us all in. And so we just want to be there for you and be a resource and have all the different components of the transaction. And we're a resource for your clients as well. So anytime that your clients want to give us a call and they have questions or specific questions, not only do you have us as a resource, but if you didn't know, on the NHD side of it, we have a licensed geologist and an entire geological team that goes through all of our reports and checks them individually to ensure that they are accurate, to make sure that everything is correct before your client receives and you receive that NHD report. So we have essentially like a white glove treatment to every NHD that we do. The other piece of the NHD report is obviously the tax report. And we have a licensed tax professional on our team that goes through every single city. And when there's updates to the tax law, any updates to the taxes, they go through, and they're actually doing that right now, and making sure that everything is as up to date as possible so that it's accurate. And then when it comes to, obviously, when it comes to like the E&O insurance and everything that we provide, when I talk about this, at the end of the day, it's that we've never had to use the E&O insurance, and we've been around since 1976, since the beginning of NHDs. And that is because we have our licensed geologists and our geological staff, our tax team going through every report, the environmental hazards, everything there, double checking, triple checking, making sure that it is accurate. And then the other thing that First American obviously is all about data. And so if you didn't know, First American, especially our team, they spend millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, especially on the title side, on the data itself, making sure that all of the data that is collected, one, is secure. That is a big thing. As we know today, data is one of the biggest things, where if your company is hacked, if anything happens, what your security of the data is the most important thing. And we actually, a few years ago, I took a tour of the data center at First American. You can't get into this building. It is like Fort Knox. It is seriously one of the most secure buildings I've ever been in. And the other thing that's crazy, they took us down into the basement, and it's able to withstand over a 10 Richter scale earthquake. Like this building will be around, and every house around will be destroyed. So we have invested heavily. You've probably seen our campus down off the 55. It looks kind of like the Jefferson Memorial. That's down in Santa Ana or Costa Mesa. And again, this is the strength of First American, and why I work for this company is really, truly what they do for us, and what they do for you as our clients. So when it comes to all the things that I've been seeing in the industry, and the agents that have really been selling right now, it always is, everyone always wants to ask, especially us, since we're in a lot of offices, a lot of different areas, what are the agents that are selling doing now? And I can tell you, it's always the same. There's never a magic bullet. There's never any sort of data set that really is the best data set. At the end of the day, it's relationships. If somebody has to sell, right now, obviously we know that most people who are locked in with those interest rates in the 3s and the 4s, a lot of those people aren't selling, but there are some that have to sell. And don't forget about that, especially people that have lost their jobs. I heard from a couple of agents up in Altadena and La Cañada, JPL or NASA, the JPL division, they just had some layoffs. And so that's obviously something to look at, right? In the news, when you see those types of things, that is an opportunity for you as agents. It's obviously a sad thing that people are losing their jobs, but it also is an opportunity for you to help them, because at the end of the day, these are life events. These are things that people can't predict, and no one can really figure that out, right? No one can predict that that's going to happen. But if you're there to help them and assist them through that process, you're going to win them over. You're going to win over their families. And those are the things that I like to talk about this time of year. It's really the snowball effect. So I'll tell you a little personal story. A couple years ago, and I always talk about this around Thanksgiving. So this was about 4 or 5 years ago. I was at a Thanksgiving party, and an agent of one of the offices, she never talks to affiliates. She never liked talking to affiliates. And so we just had a conversation, because I'm from Atlanta and she lives in Georgia half of the year. And I asked her, I said, would you ever consider selling or helping my parents sell their home? They're talking about it. They're empty nesters. Me and my sisters were all out of the house. It was a 4-bedroom house. And so what ended up happening was one conversation at one Thanksgiving party. She ended up helping my parents sell their house, buy a new house, helped my sister rent a place, then helped her buy a condo. And now my sister's talking about selling her condo and then moving in with her fiance. And so they'll both sell his house. So that's potentially, we're looking at 6, maybe 7 transactions from one conversation at one Thanksgiving party. And I honestly never really see her anymore. But again, that's that snowball effect that you really never know how one conversation can turn into 6, 7 transactions, really and truly like a lifetime of transactions. And for me, it's like, I don't know many real estate agents in Atlanta. And the fact that she was an agent out here, but lived there more than 6 months of the year, it was just a thing that I felt she knew more of the industry than even the agents in Atlanta. And I'll tell you that most states are attorney states. And so a lot of the real estate agents, they just rely on the attorneys to do everything. And the craziest thing is in other states, it can take them up to 2-3 weeks to get preliminary title reports. It's, it takes a couple hours here. The other thing was they were not trying to close. And I had gone back, and it was actually Thanksgiving time, 2020 is when my parents were, or 2021, they were buying a house. And they didn't want to close on Thanksgiving. But because this agent was from California, and I'm going to give you all props that you guys know this industry better than agents all across the entire country. And it's how you guys do business here. It really sets you apart. And this agent really had to go and almost threaten these attorneys that she was going to take them to the bar of Georgia because they didn't want to close because they were doing a Thanksgiving party in the back of the office and they needed a wet signature. She got the owner off the golf course to come sign every document. This was something that was supposed to take 15 minutes. It ended up taking a few hours. But again, this is how you as agents in California know how to do business, and it matters. It really does. And that helped my family personally. It was an agent from California who knew the business, knew how to handle this, and knew the professionalism and what needs to be done. So I know a lot of people have talked about people moving out of state, and those are opportunities obviously for people, but I'm someone who moved to California, and seeing the industry here versus other places, it really is a totally different game here, especially in Southern California. So use that in your listing presentations and talk about how we do things differently here, and your professionalism and how you present yourself is obviously the biggest thing to winning over business and winning over clients. But again, don't forget about those Thanksgiving and holidays and talking to people, because really and truly it can turn into 4, 5, 6 transactions that you never thought was going to happen. But it's because you know the industry, you're talking about what's going on. And I guarantee you for the holidays this year, you're probably going to have a lot of people asking, what's going on with the industry? What's going on in the market? But where we come in and where I come in is I'm your person, I'm your backstop when it comes to the NHD, the environmental, taxes, all that information. And then obviously you have all the other affiliates that are here to walk your clients through that transaction. And I definitely think that you should bring up the fact that if they have not sold their home in the last 4, 5, 6 years, there have been so many changes in the industry that that's just a great conversation to have, is that what's been going on and you can enlighten them and tell them. And then again, throw in the fact that you're there to help if they have a family member, if they have a cousin, if they have a hairdresser, like anybody, right, that there may be that needs to buy or sell a home, that's where you're there. And then the other thing that I've been seeing a lot of people when it comes to mailers. So this is something that I know some of you do, some of you don't do. Anything that you're sending out that's a mailer, always have something that's going to get them to do something, right? You have, I think they call it a plan of action or something, where if you send out a text message, right, ask something for them to respond. Or if you're providing something like a mailer, I've seen this multiple times where people put just things that people are going to be able to use. So I've seen people put stuff like different recipes and things like that, where someone can use it and they're going to keep it. It's something that's going to have a shelf life. So that's really the key to anything that you're giving someone. If it has a shelf life, if it's useful, it's not just something that they easily look at and then throw into the garbage or into the recycling. If it has something that they're going to want to keep, even if it's just your contact information and then something like a Thanksgiving recipe, it's something they'd think about keeping, right? So anything when it comes to marketing, always consider that. And then, like I've said before, if it's something that you're doing as a closing gift, always consider adding in something that's going to have a shelf life of 10 years, something like a fire extinguisher, first aid kit, anything that they're going to keep that has your contact information on it. I always talk about this because I see the Cutco people out a lot, right? And they always talk, this is their whole pitch, is that it has a shelf life. It's something that they're going to use over and over again. Now, tie that in with something like a first aid kit. That's something that somebody will use. And then if they use that first aid kit, again, it's just top of mind awareness. So anything marketing wise, if you're going to spend the time to do it, always have something where they're going to do something with it, or they're going to want to keep it. Another thing I've seen is different ways to things to throw away in the trash. I got something like that in the mail and I keep it. I literally saw it the other day and I was like, it's so funny. I kept this, but it's like, what do you throw in the trash? What do you throw in the recycling? What do you throw in the green bin? All the things that you're able to do. And it's something that I would have never thought I would have kept, but it's good to know, right? It's a good piece of information. It's something that you can provide value to your clients. And it's something simple, but it's something that gives you the ability to be top of mind, to always be the person they're thinking about. And I guarantee you that if you're providing multiple touches throughout the year, that's when they're ready to sell, or you're reaching out every quarter and just checking in with them. That's when you're going to get them to, oh yeah, I'm not selling, or I'm not thinking about selling, but my neighbor actually, they were talking to me the other day. And then you may get that neighbor, right? And I always see this all the time. And you guys know this, that one agent will get a listing on the street, and then every single house on the street is not the same agent. It's always a different agent. And why is that? Sometimes, obviously, people have friends or they know people in the industry, but a lot of times it's because the agents aren't necessarily talking to the other neighbors, going around and finding out who is looking to sell. And I think the statistic is within 11 days of one listing, somebody in the immediate area lists their house as well. And obviously now, a lot of people who are listing, it ends up being because the whole neighborhood, right? And a lot of times this is true, that everyone grows up together. And so once one family graduates one person, someone down the street's graduating someone, and then they're all empty nesters at the same time. And then they all start talking to each other. And one person's like, well, we're listing. And then they say, oh, we're listing. But I see it all the time. It's all different agents. So if you could capture 2 out of the 10 that get listed on a street, you're the best agent in the neighborhood, right? You're the top agent. And so that's just another opportunity for you. Don't forget that if you get a listing, go talk to the neighbors, go around the neighborhood, go check it out, and just let them know what you're doing, how you're going to help that client, and how you could help them. And this is just all different ideas of things that I'm seeing out there that are really working for a lot of agents. Expireds. I've heard a couple agents in the last couple of weeks have gotten some expireds. These are all things that this time of the year, if people are serious about selling, they're going to sell. And if there's buyers out there, they aren't necessarily the looky-loos right now. A lot of people who are going to open houses, most of them are people who are very serious. And as we know now with the BRBC, these people have to, if they don't have one, they have to work with you if they're going to work with you. So take advantage of that. And don't forget, like, you could sell at least a house by the end of the year. If you're out there and you're in the community, there's going to be somebody. You want to be that agent who is the person who is. So other than that, I'm always here. I'm a resource. And you guys know that I'll see you guys Friday for Thanksgiving. And I hope to see you there. I'd love to talk to you guys. If you have any ideas or want to talk to me about things, I don't just talk about NHG. I really like to talk about everything in the industry. And I'm really kind of a nerd when it comes to just learning more and more about every aspect and how we're all a piece of the puzzle, and it takes the team to cross the finish line. And so anything I can do to help you, we don't close unless you close. So anything I can do, that's why I'm here, to really help. And when it comes to everything NHD specific. I have a team behind me. If I can't answer a question, they'll get on a phone call with your clients. But we're all here to help, and I hope everyone has a fantastic week and a happy Thanksgiving. And I hope to see you all Friday.
Thank you so much, Brandon. What you talk about is very informative and very practical. You know, as you said, that the knowledge is value. You know, you being a real estate agent, you have a lot of knowledge, and that's the source of you know, the source of ammunition that you can you know, give to your clients and help them to do a lot of things, and they appreciate that in return. And you know, as you know, that the real estate is about people. You know, the more people you know, the more people you contact, the more successful you will be. Okay, so yeah, thank you very much, Brandon, for the very informative talk. And we would love to see you Thanksgiving party. Okay,
Thanks.
thank you very much.
Well,
Any question for Brandon? No?
Yeah, I have a question, Brandon.
Okay,
Did you
yeah.
make me my pecan pie yet? Otherwise, I'm coming after you. I'm coming after you. I got one from last year. I am not letting go.
I do make a pecan pie. Sandy, I've owed forever, so she's getting
Forever. The best pecan pie. Oh my God.
it's a
You want a
chocolate,
pecan pie? Get someone from Atlanta to make you a pecan pie. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
and it's not just pecan; it's chocolate
Yeah.
sea salt caramel pecan pie.
So good.
Really looking forward to seeing you guys.
Yep.
Friday. All right, and anything else? Anybody want to share? Okay, now I have a couple of announcements to make. As you know, there will be no lunch and learn this Wednesday, but there will be a training this Thursday and so Friday, because Friday we have Thanksgiving party. So this Thursday, Michelle is going to give a training on the forms, right? Michelle, can
Yeah,
you
I'm
tell us a
gonna
little bit about it?
I'm gonna go over very quickly the RPA grid, because there's still some little issues that we've seen. I'm gonna briefly go over the BRBC, and then I'm gonna go over the steps that a buyer's agent, things that we've thought of over the years. I have a list of what the buyer agent should be doing during escrow. Don't take your foot off the gas. This is the time to really keep your foot on that gas and keep going. So we're going to go over just steps that the agent should do during the escrow period so nothing's missed.
All right, great, wonderful. So it's this Thursday at 1 o'clock, so miss it. And as you know, the Friday from noon to 3 o'clock, there will be our Thanksgiving party. And all the affiliates are invited, and hope to, you know, see most of them. And also, you know, James Charles, the development company, also included in this party. So there will be a lot of people, a lot of food, a lot of chit-chatting, a lot of fellowshipping. So that would be fun, okay? Don't miss out this party. So looking forward to that. Next Monday, we will not have a business meeting because of the Thanksgiving week. We want to give all the affiliates and all the agents a little break, so we won't have a business meeting next Monday. But we will resume that the week after that, and then we'll wish you a very good Thanksgiving week and a Thanksgiving day. Okay. Anything that I missed? An announcement, Michelle, that you want to make?
No, you covered everything.
Okay. And so at this point, I would like you to tell us what's going on with the office in terms of listing and sales, please.
Okay, great. So last week, for our new escrows, we have 419 North Chandler, number 310 at 680. That's Nina and Tatiana. We have Shumei Cam with a couple of commercial leases. And don't ever scoff at commercial leasing, because it can be quite a large amount, because you get paid commission for the initial term normally, sometimes on the options. But 181 at Atlantic Times Square and 161, total about 800,000 value of rent paid. So that's very, very good. And then 168 South Monterey Street in Alhambra, sale price $938, and that's Nina Shu on both ends. The new listings, 168 Monterey Street, number 518 in Alhambra. It's a penthouse lease, $6,900 a month, Jimmy Garcia. And number 181 at Atlantic Times Square came up as listed, and Shoemake-Ham has already leased it. Closed escrow, 419 North Chandler Avenue, number 410, $680,000. Nina and Tatiana represented both sides. 168 South Monterey Street, number 220, $850. Nina Shu represented the listing side. 554 East Hurst Street in Covina. Alden Lai was the listing agent. It's an income property at $1,050,000. 16592 through 96 Alliance in Tustin. It is a income property. Michael Chang was the sales agent. That closed at $2.4 million. 1735 Terrace in Montebello. That's Nick Nguyen. That is a residential for $570,000 closed. 406 North Lincoln in number A in Monterey Park. 758 Nina and Tatiana represented both sides on that residential. So
Great.
thank you all very much.
Congratulations to all the agents who have listings and sales. Wonderful. Okay, any missing listing or sales that we have missed that came in late? They want or any agents want to pitch their listings or open houses? This is time to do so. Anybody want to share? No? Pretty quiet.
Well, I mean, if anybody knows any high rollers that's willing to rent out a penthouse out in Alhambra, just let me know. Like Michelle says, just hit the hospitals. I've been hitting the hospitals. I hit Huntington Hospital and the other one, the Optum Hospital in Alhambra. And I just walked over there. I just saw men in white coats, women in white coats, and they just handed them to them, and I told them about it. So
that's great.
let me know.
Yeah, Jimmy is working very hard on door knocking too, right, Jimmy?
Yeah, door knocking.
Good for you. Yeah.
Right. Right now, like they all said, it's prospecting season.
Yes, definitely. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else want to share their listings or sales? Reduction in price? Anything that you want us to market your properties? This is time to do so. Well, if not, then I'll go right into my presentation. I want to share something with you. It is the new laws that will affect the real estate practice. The other day I was talking to Michelle, and Michelle was saying, "Oh my God, I have new laws out of my ears. How can the agents keep track of it? Yeah, I agree, Michelle. The new laws are really overwhelming at times. And last month they have another 2 laws that came in that affects the practice of real estate. And what can I say? This is the nature of the beast. You chose the real estate profession, and this is the professions that had to deal with a lot of areas. So that's why a lot of laws affects the real estate practice. But you just have to do it methodically, and once it comes, you just kind of take it easy with it and kind of mold it in, and then try to comply with it. And as you know, that knowledge is value. When the more knowledge you have, the better you are equipped to talk to your clients. And your client would kind of notice that. But if you're very knowledgeable, they can trust you more. And so this is also a value for you to show that you know about what is going on in the society, and so that they can have confidence in you. Okay, so this is not just all bad; it's good too. So then the first the law that I want to tell you about is AB 723, and this is has to do with the digital altered image. As you know, that the AI is getting more and more popular, and they can do a lot of things with the AI. They can make anything that is not nearly as realistic to be really realistic, and in that process, it changed the whole thing. So sometimes it can be deceptive of what the really situation is, and that's why this law come into play. The California Business Professional Code add another section to it, so to govern the handling of a digital altered image, and they define what the digital altered image is that any picture that has been modified using photo editing software or AI to add, remove, or change elements of the property. For example, the furniture, appliances, everything in the room or in the premises, and so it can be drastically different from what the original situation is, and so that's why they want you to have the original picture to be side by side with the digitally altered image, and also with the disclaimer that this is a digitally altered image, and so that whoever will the image can tell what the difference between the original one and the digitally altered image. And this law has been coming into play on August 10, 2025, which is just last month. The reason why it was introduced is because the AI is very powerful nowadays. They can change anything, and sometimes people are confused whether, hey, is it really that beautiful or not, and so the professional code want to make that clear that this is the image that has been electronically altered, so that they can tell what's the difference between the original one and the digital, the altered one, and it affects all the real estate brokers and salesperson operating in California, because they must abide by the regulations and the rules, and also the sellers and marketing teams. And if they want to use the digital altered photo, they have to abide by this law as well. And the consumer benefits from it because they can have the comparison between the enhanced picture as well as the original picture, so that they can tell what the difference is, so that they know that this is how much it has been improved and altered. And not just that applies on the sales of the property, it also applies to leases over 1 year. So any leases that's over 1 year, and if you have produced any pictures that are digitally altered, you have to do abide by the law name, and specifically you have to have the disclaimer as well as original pictures that go side by side with the altered digitally altered one. And the next law is the AB 628. This is a brand new law that requires the landlord to do two things. One is they have to provide, when they rent their apartments to tenants, the landlord has to provide a stove that is maintained in good condition, and also a refrigerator that is maintained in good condition. Now, this requirement applies to all the leases, and all leases, or amended leases, or extended or renewed leases after January 1st, 2026, which is 1.5 months from now. So all the leases that is ended after that time, this is the law. The landlord has to provide a stove, a good working stove, and a good working refrigerator, unless that the landlord and the tenant enter into a mutually agreeable mutually agreeable contract saying that the tenant voluntarily will provide their stove or refrigerator, and then and that's a certain exemption to it, which I will talk about a little bit later. But anyway, if there's no exception, then the landlord has to provide the two things for the tenants. There's a specific exemption for this law. So all the permanent and supportive housing, single room occupancy units, and also the residential hotels or units within the facility with shared or communal kitchens are all exempted. So in other words, all those very short-term leasing with a special purpose, they are exempted. But most of the tenants which are in regular rentals are included in this new law. The reason, okay, now most of the time I mentioned that there's exemption when the tenants and the landlord enter in the voluntary agreement to have the tenant to provide their own refrigerator. Now the stove is no exception. Okay, the stove you have to provide. The landlord has to provide. But if the tenant wants to provide their own refrigerator, that can be done by using an agreement, a written agreement between the tenant and the landlord, and has a disclaimer saying that under the state law, the landlord is required to provide a refrigerator in good working condition in your unit. But by checking this box, you acknowledge that you have asked to bring your own refrigerator, and you are responsible for keeping the refrigerator in working condition. So this is the disclaimer or disclosure that you have to put in your lease in order to make the exemption valid. And also you have to provide the tenant a 30 days right to revoke. In other words, anytime the tenant wants to revoke that agreement, they can give the landlord a 30 days notice, and after the 30 days, the landlord has to provide the refrigerator for the tenant, and the tenant has the absolute right to enforce this new law. Okay, and after they give the written notice to revoke the previous contract. And so why was the bill introduced? Well, of course, this is to protect the tenants, because the lawmakers think that the stove and the refrigerator is the minimum the requirement for habitability. So in other words, in order to live comfortably, they have to have a refrigerator and a stove. That's the minimum. So so that they can live with dignity. That's another step to protect the tenants. But on the other hand, that's extra expense for the landlord. So eventually, this will translate into a higher rent, I think. And the tenant who ultimately has to pay for this kind of amenity. So I don't know whether it's good or bad, but nevertheless, this is a bill to protect the tenant at this time, and this is the bill that you have to abide by beginning of next year. Okay, very important rule, and I make sure that your property management also know about this and don't get into trouble with it. Okay, now who does it affect? This law affects the landlord of residential rental units in California only. So, and it will be effective January 1st, 2026, and also affect the tenants. Where the tenants have the option, the right to have their own refrigerator, but they have also the right to 30 days revocation so that they can always revert back to the requirement that the landlord has to provide for the refrigerator. And they also affect the real estate investor, the property managers, and also the managers of the multi-family properties. And they will have to budget and prepare for the compliance because now they have to provide the refrigerator and the stove. Okay, and I want to talk about the affordability index too. And as you know that less and less people are able to afford to buy the average house in California. But hopefully that situation improve a little bit during the second quarter and the third quarter of 2025. In the second quarter, it was only 15% who can afford to buy the average house, which is standing at $887,380. And in this third quarter of 2025, only 16% can afford to purchase the average house in California. But now 17% can afford to buy the average house in California. So it's a little bit improvement, not a whole lot, but it's better than 17%. It's better than 15%. And now, if you want to buy a house that is average value at $887,000, you need an annual income of $223,600 in order to pay for the PIPT, which is the amount of money to support the house. And also make a monthly payment of $5,590 for the principal, interest, and taxes and insurance on a 30 years fixed mortgage of 6.67. Now the mortgage is a little bit lower than 6.67. Right now it's hovering at 6.3. So you probably have a little bit of more affordable, but not a whole lot. And if you just want to purchase a lower value house at $649,990, you have to have a minimum annual required income of $163,600 to qualify. So hey, it's not easy to afford a home now, And I remember when I first purchased my home, it was $110,000, and I thought that was a big burden for me. Imagine nowadays the first home buyer, they have to buy a house at $887,000. Man, it's a big expense. That's why the affordability index is really low. Only 17% of the Californians can afford to buy an average house in California. I hope it will improve, next year, but don't hang a big hope on it. This is what it is, It's just that the houses are never going to come down drastically, especially in California, where you still have a lot of shortage of housing. So the mortgage rate is hovering, as I said, it's hovering at 6.2, 6.3, compared to, in March, it was about 7%. It's a considerable improvement. And although the interest rate, kind of went up a little bit after the Fed cut the interest rate by 25 percentage point. And hopefully the Fed will make another 25 percentage point reduction in interest rate in December. But this is not for sure yet, because it seems that they have the second thought about it after they look at the inflation data and the state of the economy. And but anyway, hopefully they will reduce 25 percentage point in December. that will help our mortgage a little bit and help our affordability a little bit. And now the borrowing cost is a little bit lower than before, but it's not too much. You know, we're talking about like 50 percentage point cost difference, and it's not a whole lot. And nevertheless, it's going down a little bit, and hopefully it will go down even more in 2026. And they're projecting that the interest rate will go down to about 5.5, and that will really help the housing market in 2026. So let's keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best. Okay. All right. So this is what I have to present. And do you have any questions that you want to ask me? Any comments?
Always a good comment. Great information, Peter, as always.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
All I want to say is attitude is number one. You go out there with the positive attitude, people will want to work with you.
Yes.
Yes, when it's raining, door knocking, it's key. I know you don't want to get wet, but be prepared. But people will open the door. They'll feel more likely to open the door when they see that you're out there, and they'll see that you are determined to help them, and that you have a consistency of doing what they need and helping them in their real estate transactions. But that's what you need to do. Door knocking is especially great when it's raining out there. I look forward to seeing everyone on Friday. It's always a good time. I'll bring some nice treats. And it'll be nice. It'll be great.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a great week.
You're always a good supporter.
I try.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay. Anything else? Anything you want to discuss at all? It's open forum right now.
Hi, Peter. It's me.
Hi, Sylvia. Go ahead.
You know what we've heard on the news about housing in California or in other places is that the parents are buying with their income. They have a higher income qualifications. The parents are buying the properties for their kids.
Yes.
Because the kids are unable to afford.
Right. Co-signer. Yeah, co-sign for
Yep.
the kids. Yeah. Yes. It's very common nowadays.
Yes,
Yeah.
what I wanted to mention.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Peter, this is Camelia. I have a question.
Camelia. How are you?
So the law regarding the refrigerator means that if the landlord and tenant agree that the tenant can bring their own refrigerator, and then the refrigerator breaks down after a year and they're still on a lease, they can then ask the landlord to provide one within 30 days.
Yes, they can do that. Yeah, but before there is revoked, the maintenance is on the tenant. The tenant has to maintain his own refrigerator. Okay.
Correct.
Mhm.
And when is that in effect?
January 1st, 2026.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, which is about a month and a half from now. Any new leases or renewal of leases and extension of leases, after the 1st of January, they have to apply by the new law. Okay. All right. Anything else? Well, if not, then I wish you a great week ahead, and I hope to see all of you Friday, okay? Noon to 3 o'clock. Come and have a good time. All right. Thank you very much. See you then. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Have a
Bye.
good week. See you Friday.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See
Have a good
you.
day. See you Friday.
Bye-bye.